Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, Crow. The mighty Andy Crow is working to make shotguns more accurate. A storm of driven birds. We're on a shoot where the partridges and the pheasants are like locusts. First, we're Macnabbing it again. 3 bites of the cherry in Scotland. As we have often said, you can make up a Macnab as you go along. The original was 3 men, 2 stags and a salmon off 3 different estates. We are 4 men after stags, salmon and grouse on 2 different estates. First up is our stag day in the hills above Bewley in Inverness-shire. Now we have some top people from the continental gun trade. Tim and Stefan. They make Zeiss scopes, binos and other sports optics in Germany. Arnaud and Alex. They distribute Zeiss scopes and Zauer rifles in France. Arnaud and Alex have done so well that Tim and Stefan have invited them to Scotland for this trip. Zauer supplies the rifles and we set them up on a clanging metal stag target. Then it's into the Argo with Stefan and Alex and up the hill. The others are going to attempt their fish today. When we reach the top of the hill, we realise there is no shortage of stags. The difficulty is going to be getting close to a shootable beast without a dozen other animals jumping up and spooking it.
There's a group of stags down in the bottom of the valley, and there's a single stag higher up, which I think we'll have to try for him, depending if he's away to move now. He's back on his feet.
It's laid up and hollow a few hundred yards away. We creep closer. And then we sit and wait. Then it moves and Alex can shoot.
Beide man Seil. Thank you, sir. Beautiful. Scottish.
After the Gralloch, we're sitting back having a sandwich when Alex spots a stag running towards us. Stefan puts down his sandwich, grabs his rifle and jumps, or at least lurches into a quick crawl. The stag gets to 100 yards and realises we are not what we seem. It spots the camera on the skyline. Richard stops it with a roar. Stefan takes his chance and it's down.
We were having lunch and the stag chased another bigger stag away from the hinds towards us. We seen it and stopped it. It come in below us. We had to give it a roar and it stopped, and he done a very good shot on it.
We had a variety of Zauer rifles to choose from. For our stags, we picked the rugged Zauer 101, the big biro of the rifle world. Does the job well, and you don't feel too bad if you treat it mean.
It's made for real tough hunts and rigid conditions. It's made to last. It's going to be with you for a long time. We set it up with a size Duralid, which I think is the optimal mix and the optimal combination. And you see it's been set up for Scottish use with the bipod and the silencer. And we can tell it shoots very, very well because it did its job yesterday and did it twice and no complaints.
2 stags down means there's no room for the stalking party on the Argo. They get a ride down the hill and we walk down to find that Tim and Arnaud have had success with their fish. This fills Stefan and Alex with hope for the following day. They are 1/3 of their way to their Macnab.
I can tell you, fishing is definitely not my sport. I don't know what I'm actually doing here. Probably I have no technique for that. I don't know. There's nothing in the water. I'm not sure. Whatever. I don't know. It's definitely the hardest part of it.
We give it a day's worth of attention, but not a single head and tail, nor even the hint of a nibble. And of course we are happy when we hear that Arnaud has got his stag. But Stefan makes a few resolutions about future fishing forays.
Probably the river is just overfished. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Just tell me the top 10 excuses.
Last day is for grouse, and we move estates to Coinyaffin in the Monadleert Hills, one of Scotland's most beautiful estates. We have a walked-up day across what feels like the top of the world. As befits a well-run rough day, there are not so many grouse to interrupt the walking, and not so much walking we don't get to enjoy the grouse. We are happy with our group Macnab so far. 3 stags, 2 salmon and a good pike. You can only do it in Scotland at this time of year. After the grouse start on the 12th of August, while the stags are on song in the autumn rut, and before the salmon finish at the end of October. It's not long before we achieve it, with a grouse on the floor. And not long after that before everyone in the shooting party has had at least one bird.
For us guys it's simple, but for people that have never shot grouse before, it's quite hard, you know. It's getting the eye of the gun, seeing what way the grouse are going, and if your line and stuff like that is not right, you've got all the health and safety talks and stuff as well. But it is easy to shoot grouse in good winds, but in bad winds, and if you've got no grouse, then it is hard, but if you've got a lot of grouse, it's quite easy.
The Scottish thing is rubbing off well on the Zeiss guys. They have even commissioned their own tartan. In the spirit of European unity, they're having it made by Laxon in Denmark.
This is actually the Zeiss tartan. Yes, we have not started making kilts yet, but it's our own colours, it is.
It has been a wonderful 3-day break in the Highlands. Lackey Smith of Highland Sporting organised the trip.
To try and do the 3 species in a week is very achievable. On putting it all in the day, which is the real Macnab, is not an easy task, but doable and certainly worth a go.
If you want to book a trip like this, contact Lackey by email ls@highlandsporting.com. And if you want to know more about Carl Zeiss Sports Optics, visit zeiss.com. From a gorgeous, glorious landscape to a stump, it's David on the Fieldsports channel, News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Aboriginal hunting practices increase animal populations. That's the conclusion of the Woods Institute for the Environment. Its film on YouTube shows how burning grassland not only makes it easier to spot animal burrows from a longer distance, but also leads to a near doubling of lizards and improves habitat. The BBC programme Autumn Watch has been talking about the problem of injured deer. The programme showed a hind limping as a result of getting stuck in fencing. However, they failed to mention how or what they were going to do to deal with the deer. A book that started thanks to shooting is now anti-shooting. The Guinness Book of Records came about in 1951, when then chairman of Guinness Brewery, Sir Hugh Beaver, missed a shot at a golden plover. He wanted to know if the plover was the fastest game bird in Europe, but couldn't find a book with the information. That inspired him to create a record book of his own. Fieldsports Channel has made several applications to record shooting records, but the Guinness World Records YouTube channel refuses to take part. Now a shout out to the Countryman's Diary website. It's just published a flattering interview with Charlie, and it includes a worrying admission that he would like me to be his man Friday on a desert island. Thanks, but I'm allergic to coconuts. There's news that the Asian carp have entered the Great American Lakes. These lakes have a surface area roughly the size of the United Kingdom. Asian carp are an invasive species that reach plague proportions in some US rivers and enjoy giving bow hunters a good slap. And finally, an Oregon highway engineer who blew up a beached whale with half a ton of dynamite in 1970 has died at the age of 84. George Thornton gained national notoriety over the exploding whale. The act endured for decades thanks to a video that shows giant pieces of whale carcass splattering across the beach and spectators. The 45-foot-long sperm whale was estimated to weigh 8 tons. It had become washed up and had started to stink. Thornton had refused to talk about the exploding whale for many years, once remarking that every time he did, it blew up in his face. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now, maybe you can't hit the door of the biggest barn since Barney the Bear held his big barnyard barn dance. Andy Crow is here to show that you are, in reality, a shooting god. Unlike a rifle, many people expect their new shotgun to shoot straight out of the box. But that ain't necessarily so. Gun fit, cartridges and chokes all play a part. Take Crow's brother-in-law Neil. He's an experienced shot, but he couldn't hit the Arc Royal with his new Benelli Vinci. So Andy and Neil set up a pattern plate. At 25 yards it was shooting 2 foot high, and that was just for starters.
Sometimes it's not down to you while you're listening, it's the gun. You've just got to alter the gun. That's going back to what I've said all along. Always make sure the gun fits you.
Today, Crow is going to show us the importance of getting your shotgun set up properly using his Lincoln over and under and game bore clear pigeon shells.
Target's 25 yards for us. We're going to put a game bore clear pigeon to a quarter choke. Size 6s, 32s, plastic wad. We're going to see what happens. Just hope I can hit it. Right, let's have a look. It's quite a good pattern. It's quite a lot off to the left hand side. You've got, well, just here's a bit of a hole. But that's out of a quarter choke, 25 yards. So, yeah, I'll be happy with that.
Crow is looking for an evenly spread shot pattern, no doubling up and regular shot sizes. Crow's Lincoln comes with multi-chokes. For this next shot he's fitted a half choke.
We're going to give half choke a go now, so we can try and compare the patterns and see what they go like. Nice dense pattern, and all within the circle. You've got a few flies up the top here, so it's shooting a bit high. That could be me, it could be the gun, but the last pattern was spot on. It was all within the 30 inch. This has gone a little bit high, it could have been me. Yeah, if you've got the time and you've got the facilities to do it, it pays to do it. You get to know cartridges, different chokes, but I've always had the facilities to do it. A lot of people don't.
The overriding factor with all this is to get your gun fitted properly. Never one to miss an opportunity, and he reloads for the real thing. Next up is going to be full choke at 25 yards, but remember, before changing chokes, always check the gun is empty.
But one thing I will say, make sure you keep them tight. I was at a shoot earlier on in the year. A chap's choke had come loose and blew the end out of the barrel. The pressure got between the choke and the barrel and just blew the end out of it. He didn't even know he'd done it. It wasn't until we shouted to him, hang on, and that he realised, otherwise he would have had another shot. But yeah, make sure you do keep the chokes. Don't go crazy tight with them, but make sure they're tight. Quarter choke was the whole board. Half choke was coming in around here somewhere. The full choke is getting a lot smaller, but it's a lot denser. There's your pattern there, hell of a lot denser.
But would you really want to be eating a pigeon with more holes in it than a colander?
That's the sort of a pigeon body. There you go. Would you want to eat that? You wouldn't, would you? I wouldn't want to eat that.
This time Andy is going to use a couple of different makes of cartridges.
It's all the same shot size. We're going to stick them all out at quarter choke, 25 yards, and see what sort of pattern we get. It's a lovely pattern, don't get me wrong, it's a nice pattern, but they're not all 6s. Well, there'll be people saying, oh, it might be 2 pellets going through the same hole, but no, it's not. It's definitely a big pellet. So we'll cut one open in a minute and have a look. That's probably something like a 4 or 5 maybe. And that one up there is probably, could be an 8 or not, an 8 I think it is.
The first one has a good even spread, but shows a real variety of shot sizes. When we open it up, Andy finds all sorts.
So this one's shot. It's a pellet cut in half. More like an egg, this one. That's not a 6. That's a bit big. See, that's not round. That's got a flat edge on it. See how it rolls and it gets on the flat edge, see?
The second manufacturer also delivers a nice even pattern. However, there are a lot of pairs.
It just seems strange why they're in a lot of 2s, a lot of pellets in 2s. Well, you've got 2 here. 2, 2, 2. No point 2 pellets hitting the same place. It'd be better if those pellets were an inch apart, it'd open up. Yeah, but I just don't understand why there's a lot of pairs in there.
Again, dissecting the cartridge reveals some shot is stuck together.
We've got three half pellets here. 2, like a little snowman here. Chicken egg here somewhere. Where's my chicken egg gone? Lost my chicken egg there.
For our final test, let's compare the new custom choke with the standard choke fitted to Neil's Benelli.
Loads of lumps. The standard quarter choke this is. These lumps will spread out, they fill all this lot in, that'd be quite nice. But we've screwed this choke out now and see what the difference is with a custom. Well, compared with the other one, we had lumps here, lumps there, lumps here, and it's pretty well even. We've got one little lump here, but there's nothing wrong with the chokes that come with the gun. But it could be the difference between another 3 or 4 birds a day, if not more. But yeah, definitely pays to invest in decent cartridges and a decent choke.
There are a number of choke manufacturers out there. Crow has had Briley chokes from Chris Potter guns in the past, but it's worth shopping around.
This is your standard choke. This is your custom choke. About between 40, 45 pound for this sort of this particular choke.
The Benelli is now ready to rock and roll. A lowered stock, some decent cartridges and a custom choke have done the job. The last thing you need to do is keep those cartridges warm. Last year, George Digweed showed us the mess cold cartridges make of your barrels. The powder just doesn't burn as quickly and therefore the shot isn't delivered efficiently in a neat, even pattern.
These are some that I've had on the radiator. You can see now there's no residue up there at all.
I hope some of this has been useful, even, dare I say it, educational. If not, then we've given you loads of excuses for the next time you miss a sitter. If you want to see more Crow films, click on the screen that's magically appeared up there behind me and you'll see him trying to hit something a little more challenging. Next, let's see what you lot have been up to. It is Hallo Charlie. Here's what the world's up to this week.
Hello Charlie, just shot this red calf out here at the Euston Estate in Deptford with my old friend Chris Rogers. Been a great stalk. Thanks Chris.
Hello Charlie, we're doing some roe deer, some wild boar on a driven hunt in the west of France. It's grey, windy and cold. It reminds me of Britain. Bye.
Hello Charlie, it's Nick Rudisell again. Opening day of duck season here in Indiana. We are done for the day, but we happen across some poachers. So we are in the process of calling the warden out to see what can be done about this. Look what they left for us.
Send us your own Hallo Charlie. Film yourself on your mobile phone, just a sentence saying Hallo Charlie, who you are and what you're up to. Then share it or email it via YouTube, Facebook, Dropbox, or you send it, you name it, to charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. And please keep those Hallo Charlies coming. Now I have come to the Aberarder Estate in the Central Highlands, where the guests are arriving for a lovely day's pheasant shooting. That was the first drive, proof that the Aberarder 50-yarder makes it harder to fill the larder. Now, that kind of mixed pheasant and partridge off moorland does not happen by accident. As the pickers up busy themselves, let's talk to one of the men behind it.
People like to travel and they hear of Scotland and they think of the hills and the mountains, and that's what they come for. And when they get here, they're not disappointed. But I'm a Yorkshireman, so I can be balanced in my viewpoint.
For a local Scots view, let's turn to the gamekeeper.
We try and cater for all tastes really. We can do anything from rough days walking up, pheasants, hares, ducks and grouse, up to sort of our premium driven days are in the region of 250 head, maybe 300 tops.
And that's what we're here to do today, so it's off to the second drive.
For me, it's the sheer beauty of the place, the incredibly kind people, and the fabulous bird shooting. Also, the estates are so tidy and so pretty and so well kept. It's a blast to be here. Thank you.
Well, I think we have a huge advantage in Scotland with the hills, and at Aberarder where we've got a lot of hills and some very beautiful trees to be able to show the pheasants around and over. And then we've got an excellent head keeper who understands pheasants and has been at it for many years.
We're shooting over about 13,000 acres. About 6,000 acres of that is open hill for driven grouse. We've got about 3,000 acres of commercially planted forestry where we do quite a lot of deer stalking, and then the rest is low ground in these hardwoods and deciduous woods. Yeah, it's good for the pheasants. We've got a good mix of sort of more open woodlands, and then the thicker woodlands for winter cover. We can get quite a few woodcock through the winter here as well. They love the birchwoods in particular, and the ground's quite soft.
Still a bit early for woodcock today, but not too early for a drink. We stop by the loch and fill up on sausages and soup. This team of guns is American, as you probably worked out. The same team of guns we were out with on our Hull Cartridge Day, and they are doing well, so there is time to fit in something a little different. There are only a few duck in this little corrie, and like the Texan businessmen who are shooting them, they are high flyers. Marcus has one word to describe the last drive of the day.
Showpiece. This is one of my favourite ones, particularly with the wind. We haven't got it today, but birds should do well. It's one of Jörn's favourites. He has a habit of having 2 release pens for each drive. One is behind us and the other over here. So we're never quite sure which way the birds are going to turn. And with the wind, they can go to one and turn on the wind and go to the other. So everybody can have shooting. There's no favourite peg. Perhaps the low numbers get more, but the higher numbers get higher birds. Young man's sport for the beaters here. We've got lots of hills. If you're new here, you go to the top of the hill, and it's quite a pull for them.
Good, well that was the first couple of shots of the drive, so let's sit back and watch it.
Super.
A lot of Americans we meet anyway like to come here, and it's a whole package, not just the hunting, not just the shooting. They enjoy the whole place, and it's important to actually see a bit of the country as well. So they're not just into shooting. They want to see a bit of everything, but they do want to shoot it for well, of course.
Right, what's next? The chef needs a drink, that's what's next.
Well, a lovely day's shooting there in gorgeous autumn colours, and if you'd like to find out more about shooting at Aberarder, duck, grouse, pheasant or partridge, email lackysmithls@highlandsporting.com. Next, it's the map that matters. It's calendar.
Welcome to this week's calendar in association with Basque, with dates for your diary, smartphone, tablet and Filofax. The new moon was on Sunday the 3rd of November 2013. It's half moon this Sunday the 10th of November and full moon the following Sunday the 17th of November. Now, why not check out the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust's woodcockwatch.com, which reports on the progress of satellite-tracked woodcock that left the UK earlier this year and are now heading back from as far away as an area of Russia on the same longitude as Mongolia. They will be just in time to catch that full moon. Also on the move are the pigeons. Andy Crow spotted a huge flock with many thousands of birds heading south over the farm last week. Judging by the UK hunting pages on Facebook, deer stalkers are not wasting time following the opening of the red and Seeker hind, roe and fallow does and Chinese water deer opening on the 1st of November. Now turning to rural events, and Basque's website lists the following. Are you interested in game cookery? On Friday the 8th of November 2013 there's a shoot and cook training day at Tideswell School of Food in Derbyshire. You can learn all about game in a day on Sunday at the School of Artisan Food in Nottinghamshire. Now starting on Monday and running until Friday the 16th of November next week, the Peak Edge Hotel and Red Lion Bistro in Derbyshire are holding a game festival. And if you're in the southeast of England on Tuesday the 12th of November, head for the Newlands Cookery School in Hampshire for a game and red wine evening. In other events on Saturday, Preston and District Wildfowlers Association is holding a Young Shots Day at Dolphin Shooting Ground in Lancashire. There are 2 ladies shooting events on Saturday. Southwest Lady Guns will meet at Barbury Shooting School in Wiltshire, and the Shotgun and Chelsea Bun Club are off to Ladies Wood Shooting School not far away in Chipping Sodbury. The Chelsea Bunners are off to the Manchester Clay Shooting Ground on Sunday. And the Gun Dogs get a workout on Monday. The Leconfield Working Spaniel Club is holding an 18-dog novice any variety spaniel field trial on the Aberarder Estate in West Sussex. For more information, please visit the Basque website and click on the Events tab.
Now from a relaxed looking David to the wider world of hunting, shooting and fishing on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting, shooting and fishing videos that YouTube has to offer. Film of the Week shows 2 deer stalkers from bow hunting company Bow Madness Outdoors dealing with bucks whose antlers have become entangled during the rut. One of the bucks is already dead, but the other has plenty of fight in it. Another big film this week is a cinematic documentary profiling British Olympic biathlete Lee Jackson. We reckon this must have cost its producer, luxury goods firm Alfred Dunhill, around £100,000 to make, and looks like it has an ad budget of more than £500,000 behind it. Lee looks terrific, learning the opposing disciplines of cross-country skiing and precision shooting. You can buy the clothes from his back using YouTube annotations, and nobody mentions anything about cigarettes. Staying with the big budgets, viewer Francis Mellish sends in this film of Aru Game Lodges in Namibia, where he stayed in January and which he recommends. It's a trailer for a DVD you are expected to buy, but it's still a good film about a top-end safari. Moving to fishing, Milwaukee Public Television produces a series called Outdoor Wisconsin, and our viewer Lisa Schroeder loves it. In this episode, presenter Dan Small fishes for muskies with Muskie Hunter magazine editor Steve Heiting. Lisa says it's a bit like Fieldsports Britain. Goodness me, praise indeed. I like the way TV news handles fishing. When something important happens in the world of angling, the editors use every trick in the book to get the best of the story, and that's what's happening here with Great River Fishing Adventure featured on right this minute. It's about a party of accountants on a team-building fishing expedition where the boss hooks a colossal sturgeon. Next, let's go down market. Here are arty impressions of continental hunting by someone who makes a virtue of the fact they can't afford a tripod. Hunting in Slovakia by Gun Magazine has some beautiful colours in it, but looks like it was filmed on a mobile phone. It is nearly very good, but rather like you suspect of the shooter it depicts, somehow it just misses. I featured New Zealand outdoorsman Josh Marcotte the other day, and here's another Josh channel, Josh James Kiwi Bushman. This is how they do duck shooting in New Zealand, pretty much like they do it everywhere in the world. Finally, how do Americans shoot pheasants? Here is You Guide Meadow Creek Pheasant Camp Movie 2 from South Dakota, showing birds flushed to guns and lots of jolly old yeehaws. You can click on any of these films to watch them. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, we are back next week, and if you are watching this on YouTube, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere around the outside of the screen, or go to our webpage fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter or Tumblr or any number of other social media, or scroll down a bit on the right is our constant contact box where you can pop your email address and we will constantly contact you about our programme that's out 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Goodbye. Good hunting, good shooting and good fishing.